Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching. Welcome to another episode of Crime Time with DutyRon Ed Wallace. Today, we're going to talk to you about the suspect or subject that was detained overnight at 2 o'clock New York time. He was released. We want to talk to you about that. We want to get into the ongoing investigation because this investigation is far from over. It's just getting started. So thank you to all the replay viewers, the moderators, the super chatters, and all the friends who subscribe to this community. We are really appreciative of it. Ed, I just wanted to go to you quickly because we had a lot of chatter, a lot of emails, a lot of messages. I got tons of hits on DutyRon.com in regards to this Carlos who was picked up. Coincidentally, the Pima County Sheriff went before a Superior Court judge and got a search warrant. It's not easy to get that. I've done many of these. You have to go to the district attorney, plead your case, say why you want a search warrant for Carlos's residence. A judge in Superior Court in Pima County issued a search warrant, which was also executed yesterday.
Yep. So they had to jump through a lot of hoops to get that. So they had to reach when you get a warrant, it has to reach probable cause. It's not mere suspicion or reasonable suspicion. It's probable cause, which is a higher standard. That said, a judge felt that they had met that burden and issued the warrant, allowing them to go search vehicles and houses. But I saw a lot of the people talking about this and saying, well, he's not guilty, or it's the wrong guy, or it's this, it's that. And I'm like, hold your horses now, calm down a little bit. We don't know that. We don't know that because I've seen it and I know you've seen it in our careers many times. The investigators pick up somebody as a suspect and they bring them back and perform. In this case, they performed what's called a custodial interview. Now, what's a custodial interview? It means you're not free to go at that point in time. You haven't been charged, but you're not free to go. And you have to be issued your Miranda warnings. Okay. And after the Miranda warnings, then the suspicious person has the ability to either answer questions or deny questioning or ask for a lawyer. Okay. In this case, it doesn't appear from what Carlos is saying that he was really questioned at all.
Right.
They just wanted to look at his vehicles and his house and seize the phones and so forth, and any computer devices and so forth. But then they released him. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, they got the wrong guy," or this guy's innocent, or so. No, it doesn't mean that at all. As I said, we've seen in our careers many times investigators pick up these people, bring them back, question them, or interview them, and then release them because at that time they haven't gotten enough probable cause. They haven't met probable cause to make an arrest. And then they go out and do further digging and investigations. And turns out later on, they go back and pick the person up and arrest them. Okay. So we can't say that this is the case, but we also can't say it's not the case.
Right. And that's all we were saying. Last night we were kind of celebrating this breaking news and coming up with a suspect within 10 or less hours of releasing that video, right? It released during the middle of our day at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern time. So that's what, 11 o'clock over in Arizona. So we were just happy that they had somebody in custody. We didn't say that he was under arrest. We definitely said he wasn't free to go. But at the end of the day, like you said, the search warrant, what were they looking for inside of that house? What did they apply and get permission from a Superior Court judge? This is from Pima County Sheriff's. The search warrant was executed and sealed by the Pima County Sheriff's Department. It was issued by the Superior Court. And they mention his name, first name and last name, his residence, and so forth. We looked at the back of his vehicle, which was parked out in front of his home in some of the news clips, and it appeared, I don't know if this was before they stopped him or did the house search. I don't even know if he was driving in that vehicle. He said he was doing DoorDash deliveries when the encounter came last night. But at the end of the day, things do develop. Did he, during his 8 hours in this press release, they said they held him for 8 total hours. Did he take something to drink? Did he have something to eat and then discard it in the trash at Pima County Sheriff's? I don't know. Could that be possible? Could they be looking, like you said, to further enhance this investigation?
Well, you know, what we do know is that he wasn't just randomly car stopped. It wasn't a random car stop that led to this. So obviously he was under surveillance. Obviously they had him on their radar. Okay. Something drew the police and the FBI to this individual. Right. I mean, this isn't like the state troopers pulling somebody over for speeding, and the next thing you know, they're being questioned about a kidnapping. Okay. So this was focused. This was pointed, and it was pointed at Carlos. Now, we don't know what led them to Carlos. We're not privy to that information, but obviously they have information that led them to Carlos, and obviously they established to a judge's liking probable cause
to search his entire home.
Right.
So they stopped him. They conducted an 8-hour, and I don't know if they interviewed him during that whole 8 hours. They might have just let him sit there and wait. But let's take a listen to what he was when he was released. This was 2 a.m. our time. You and I, we did overtime yesterday, so we were in bed. We were in deep REM sleep at 2 a.m. our time. This is sometime after 2 a.m. A bunch of reporters grabbed him. Let us know in the chat if you saw this interview. I also have an additional interview that I think took place at a different time because he's wearing a different colored shirt. Let me know in the chat if you saw the Carlos interview when reporters asked him specific questions as it pertained to his stopping by the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's. 1, if you saw it. 2, if you didn't see it. Let's play it, Ed. And coincidentally, thank you to Kristen. I asked her quickly before we went live to get the scrolling FBI tip line. I think that's important. We put it in the descriptions of every video we do, but I think it's important that we have them on our streams. Call that tip line if you have valid information or any information. 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 225-5324.
You were apprehended for questioning. How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning.
And investigators showed up to this house, or were you the one who was pulled over in the traffic stop?
I was the one that was pulled over at the traffic stop.
Where was that?
Right here on by Chubasco.
Okay, and you were taken into custody at that point?
Yeah.
And you were
I was being detained.
Detained, okay.
I was detained the whole time.
Okay,
That's
where?
what they told me.
Where were they
At
holding
the back
you?
of a car.
Back of a
Miranda car, and then they moved me into a Pima County Sheriff.
Were you being...
He said in the back of a random car, and then they took him to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Just exactly what, remember last night when we were hyped up on this and talking about it, we said that he's going to be brought back to the Pima County Sheriff's because the FBI doesn't have a satellite office here that I know of, but it would be proper to bring him back to the Pima County Sheriff's. That's what he said that they did.
Questioned in the car?
At the Miranda car, I was being questioned, but they only asked me for my first name, my last name, my date of birth, and my social.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
My whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I, and all that. But
are you ever up in Tucson?
yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate to stop it and keep picking it apart, but like my thing is that if you're delivering packages, and this is just 12 days ago, 12 days ago, do you think he would remember delivering a package? I know they deliver a lot of packages. Kudos to the delivery people, Amazon and folks like him. They work hard. But I mean, he right away said, no, I don't know. I found that just a tad bit odd because this is something that's all over the TV. Granted, a lot of people that I know don't even watch TV. I'm sure there's people in this chat here that don't watch TV. Maybe he wasn't watching it, but I find it really hard to believe that you didn't hear it on the radio. You don't you can't go anywhere without hearing this. Go into a restaurant. It's on the TV screen in a restaurant. I don't know.
Nobody's talking about it at work. Nobody, none of your friends are talking about it. Your family's not talking about it. I mean, they live in Arizona. It's got to be all over Arizona.
Yeah. And in addition to the package delivery, he's also a DoorDash person. So he's definitely working hard. He's hustling. There's no question about it.
I mean, you're listening to the radio in the car, and even though it may be a music radio, but every so often they come on and they give you news updates.
Right. Let's take a listen to the rest of this.
Where was I and all that? But
Are you ever up in Tucson?
yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have? Did they indicate that you might have been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up.
You can never not be suspicious of everybody that they investigate. And again, as Ed said in the opening, they're going to always circle back to people like this. And he wasn't just picked. They didn't pick his name out of a hat. So, comments like this. I mean, I understand some people feel like, oh, you don't need to pick on him. He's cleared. He's not fully cleared. He was cleared to leave. Doesn't mean that he's fully cleared by anybody at this point. They can always circle back to him. Just looking at the statement that he made here, and this was right after he was released.
They until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Jeez. How do you think they connected that case to you?
Go ask them, bro.
Okay, so
That's
then,
something you gotta ask them. I can't answer that question.
did they take anything from your house tonight?
Nah, I don't know. All I can say is they took my phone.
Took your phone.
Right.
You don't have your phone right now.
All right. So there's another thing too, for people saying he's cleared, he's innocent. They seized his phone. They got a court order to do that. They didn't just say, hey, we're taking your phone. So they have his phone. This is an interesting interview. And there's another one that I'll play later on. But let's just.
There's only two ways you get that phone. Either he consents or they have a warrant.
Right.
And he doesn't say anything about consenting. He said they took my phone.
Right. And I don't think he would consent to let them just take the phone randomly. They went to a superior court judge. They got a search warrant. That's not an easy process. You need to go to a district attorney's office, present it to them. This is what I have. Then you, the detective, and the district attorney go before the judge. Sometimes we sit in the judge's chambers behind court, and sometimes it's done in open court where, there's just the court clerks and they close the courts off to regular people coming on in. So it's either done in the courtroom or I've sat in judges' chambers with a court stenographer, the district attorney, the applicant, which is me, with the confidential informant or however we're getting the search warrant. And it's a process. You have to prove to the judge that you have, reasonable cause to believe that this person has guns or drugs or has committed a crime or whatever the case may be. And it's not an easy process. Ed, I don't know if you had ever done that, but I know many.
Yeah, I've gotten search warrants, for crime scenes. I had to go testify based upon presumptive testing that I did at crime scenes, the results, and that's why I was asking for it.
And they asked them what else did they take from the house? You could bet your bottom dollar if there's a laptop or a desktop or some type of computer in that home, that's also seized. Remember they asked him, what did they take from inside your house? I don't know, because he just got home from being held for 8 hours here. So
there was a question there previously that asked, well, why did they let him go? Okay. Well, there's a number of reasons why they would let people like this go. One, they didn't have enough probable cause to arrest. Two, they want to put him back in play and see what goes from there, and then conduct their further investigations.
Yeah. Let's listen a little bit more, and then we'll continue on to what's happening now, because the FBI is out scouring about, hitting the road, detectives from the homicide squad in Pima County, along with FBI, are doing searches on foot as we speak.
Of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they
You're not sure.
nah, they just came up. They until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Jeez. How do you think they connected that case to you?
Go ask them, bro.
Okay. So
That's
then,
something you gotta ask them. I can't answer that question.
did they take anything from your house tonight?
Nah, I don't know. All I can say is they took my phone.
Took your phone.
Right.
You don't have your phone right
No.
now.
You heard there just a part of those comments from the man who says that they were detained by police and questioned in the case of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Nancy first was reported missing on February 1st. She is the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Now, this also comes as videos were released earlier on Tuesday, and they show a person wearing a ski mask and a backpack. You can see those videos released by the FBI here on your screen. Now, at one point, they do tilt their head down and away from a doorbell camera while approaching Guthrie's front door. The footage also shows the person holding a flashlight in their mouth and trying to cover the camera with a gloved hand and part of a plant ripped from the yard. The videos, less than a combined minute in length, gave investigators and the public their first glimpse of who was outside Guthrie's home in the foothills outside of Tucson. But the images did not show what happened to her or help determine whether she is still alive. FBI Director Kash Patel said the armed individual appeared to have tampered with the camera. It was not entirely clear whether there was a gun in the holster. The videos were pulled from data on back-end systems after investigators spent days trying to find lost, corrupted, or inaccessible images.
You know, and that's what we talked about too, Ed. I want to bring us back up on the screen. This case will be solved, I believe, by computer forensics, by electronic forensics.
Digital forensics, yeah.
Digital forensics all the way. Let us know what you think in the chat. Look, we're not saying that obviously this guy Carlos is the guy. You know, everyone can make comparisons, but you know, everybody sees things through a different lens, and we're not saying that it is him, and we're not saying that it isn't him.
That's right.
All we're saying is that this is an investigation that is not an easy one, because there's a lot of different moving parts to it. One of the bad parts is there's not a lot of DOT cameras, and it's according to some of the reporters that are on the ground and some of the retired investigators that are working this through the networks. They said that they did their own canvas, and there wasn't a lot of DOT cameras, and there was ways to get out of Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood without being detected on those DOT cameras. And a lot of times we catch the bad guys as they're exiting on those DOT cameras. So that's another difficult part to this piece of the puzzle, you know. Digital forensics, yes. Ed, where do we go from here? You know, they're going to continue to run down leads. They're going to continue to man that hotline that we see here. Hundreds of detectives.
Right, and right now they're FBI is doing searches along a road in Arizona here in Tucson. You know, searching off the road into the weeds, into the brush areas. Yeah, as we can see here, something led them to this road. Maybe they got another tip and so forth, and now they're searching this area here. And again, it's an area where you can put up some air assets, but you know, due to the canopy of the foliage and the indigenous plant life here, you probably got to do better off on the ground, on foot, going through these areas, because you could easily miss something from a aerial asset that's being covered by the indigenous plant life here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see air assets redeployed, because it's, as Dave Rader says, I was in communication with him last week. He always says, you know, search and rescue, EquiSearch Midwest, we love those folks. It's always good to research and research. Go back over areas that you covered, because as we know, look at Kylie Rodney. She was in that lake, and they said that they had like ridiculous amount of man hours in searching, and she was just 12 feet of water, a short distance out in that lake, and they missed her. Right. Adventures with Purpose went in there, and Doug Bishop and the crew, and they got him. It was a big embarrassment. So this is a lot of area to cover. I don't think it would hurt for them to go back over it and search again. What do you think, Ed?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, always like one is none and two is one, right? So you do one search. That shouldn't be the end of it. Okay, you got to get a fresh pair of eyes, fresh people back out there, and let them go at it again.
Let's take a listen to this. I haven't listened to this yet.
Just into the newsroom of the search for Nancy Guthrie. This is now in day 11 now. FBI agents are conducting an extensive search along multiple roadways in the Catalina foothills area. And that's where we are as we kick off a brand new hour here, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Good to be with you, John.
Good to see you as well, Sandra. What a roller coaster this is. I'm John Roberts in Washington. This is America Reports. Still no suspects in the case so far. NBC says tips have increased dramatically after the FBI released new video of a potential subject during this hour yesterday. You'll remember those surreal images at her front door. Federal agents were back searching the area around Annie Guthrie's home. That was on Tuesday night.
All right, all eyes go back to those cameras located along the route between the two Guthrie homes and whether there is more evidence yet to be uncovered. Fox team coverage. Paul Morrow is at the Pima County Sheriff's Office with brand new analysis.
But we begin with our senior correspondent, Alicia Acuna. She is outside of Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson. We just got information about some new searches. Alicia, what's going on?
That's right, John. And we just received a statement from the FBI regarding this activity that is going on right now. It reads, this morning, numerous FBI agents are conducting an extensive search along multiple roadways in the Catalina foothills area related to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. We are asking the media and motorists to follow all traffic laws and to remain especially cautious when passing law enforcement personnel near the roadways. And this is video from one of our producers who saw investigators walking along the median on the route from Nancy to Annie Guthrie's house. Now, the FBI director says the investigation is heading in the right direction.
We have made substantial progress in these last 36, 48 hours thanks to the technical capabilities of the FBI and our partnerships. And I do believe we are looking at people who, as we say, are persons of interest. But as you know, with any investigation, you are a person of interest until you're either eliminated or you're actually found to be the culprit or the culprit's involved. And that's the stage we're at right now.
I don't think that couldn't have been any clearer, Ed. And it really rings what you said. You know, this Carlos, I'm going back to Carlos because he's the only one that we know of that they've taken into custody and released. They have his phone. They probably have his electronic devices inside his home, and not only his, whoever dwells inside that home. So if he's there with his wife or there's other people there, everything, if that search warrant gave them consent for everything in that house, which I believe that it did, then they're able to take everything and anything out of that home as it pertains to electronics. And the fact that they have his phone tells me two things. Number one, yeah, he is not completely cleared officially because they have his phone. What are they doing with it? They're not just playing around with it. They're looking at all his communications from back as far as they can go. And if they have his computers, they're going to look for any type of messages or any type of plan.
Did they download the infotainment system on the van?
Yeah. Looked like the back windows of that van, we saw a picture of it, were smashed out. And I don't know who did that or if it was done before or whatever the case may be. But those two back windows to the back doors that opened up were not there anymore. And he said that's his work van. So interesting.
FBI says the number of tips coming in increased significantly after these images and footage were released to the public. NBC News reports the Guthrie family did not recognize this person at Nancy's door the morning she was reported missing. They are asking anyone and everyone to just look at the face, the way this person walks and behaves, to see if it triggers any sort of feelings that they look and behave like someone they know or may have seen. No tip is too small. Now, hours after the footage was released, a number of investigators rushed to Rio Rico, Arizona, south of Tucson, where they briefly detained and questioned a man before releasing them. A number of investigators.
So it looks like he was in his private vehicle. It wasn't that van.
Right. The van was back at the house.
Yeah, he said he was door dashing. So that van is probably for his Amazon packages or, the regular delivery route. And this is his private vehicle, which when you do DoorDash, you're going to be using your own car. So this is a good catch by the media, and looks like people are here with their phones out. Probably tons of people who got footage of this.
Rushed to Rio Rico, the way this person walks and behaves, to see if it triggers any sort of feelings that they look and behave like someone they know or may have seen. No tip is too small. Now, hours after the footage was released, a number of investigators rushed to Rio Rico, Arizona, south of Tucson, where they briefly detained and questioned a man before releasing them. John and Sandra, if we get anything on this new search that we're watching right now that the FBI just talked about.
I don't know, Ed, would you consider 8 hours briefly detained? I think that's a pretty long period of time. It's a whole business day.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know what? Again, it's custodial interview, and if he was read his Miranda rights, and he said that he would be willing to talk to them, and he never said, "Okay, I'm done," because they had nothing. They had nothing to hold him. They didn't have probable cause to make an arrest. Okay, you can't hold somebody under reasonable suspicion for that long. He could have got up and said, this interview's over, I'm done, and walked out. They couldn't do anything. Or he could have said, I want a lawyer, and at that point, it's all over. They can't talk to him anymore. But again, he could have terminated that interview anytime he wanted. But I guess he didn't know that.
Yeah. Ed, you and I talked about this before we went live. TMZ posted that there's another email demanding the 1 Bitcoin, which is equivalent of what, $56,000 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Look at this comment right above it. Jack 8.45 Ron, the fourth picture on the right. Zoom in at the cuff and the glove border. There's a tattoo peeking out. So I don't know if this person, a lot of people look at the videos and really look at them strong. Take a real hard look at it, and I'm not sure exactly what Jack's saying. If he's saying that the video that was just playing of the perp out at the house,
I don't know if I don't see any skin.
Or may have seen.
Yeah, so he was saying it looked like there was maybe a tattoo. I don't see it, but if anybody else sees it, let me know in the chat. But you can bet your bottom dollar that the FBI has all of their expert, analysis people that are combing over the hour or so worth of Nest video that was recorded on that device, or however long they have, and they are breaking down every part of this video, and there's some that we haven't seen.
So, good question. Do you have to read Miranda if you're just detained? You have to have detention and questioning, and the detention can't be, like I said, the detention has to be considered. What's the word I'm looking for? I just said it before. I'm having a brain fart. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Custodial. Yeah, it has to be a custodial detention that you're not free to leave. And then they're going to question you. If those two components come together, you have to issue Miranda.
Right. And in layman's terms, if they're not asking you questions about a crime, if you ask them, are you accusing me of committing a crime? And the police say yes or no to that. But if they're just asking for pedigree, you also can decline that as well. But if they're asking for pedigree, they don't have to Mirandarize you. If the investigators are asking you, hey, where were you on the night in question? Then yeah, you need to be Mirandarized before they ask you that question. So, Yeah, it's feds march to a different drum beat, but locals, they have to abide by the Miranda rules. All right, let's look at this again. Did we miss something here? I'm trying to see if I see anything. I'm going to cut the audio off and just let it play. I'm taking a hard look. I don't.
Let's see.
Yeah, you and I are both like up on the screen right now looking at the.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Let's see here. Well, thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for pointing it out.
Have seen no tip is too small. Now, hours after the footage was released, a number of investigators rushed to Rio Rico, Arizona, south of Tucson, where they briefly detained and questioned a man before releasing them. John and Sandra, if we get anything on this new search that we're watching right now that the FBI just talked about, we will definitely bring that to you.
Wondering if they're searching the route in case something might have been thrown out of the car. We'll see if that yields any more evidence. Alicia Acuna for us. Great reporting you've been doing. Thanks so much for joining us. Sandra?
All right, Paul Moros, retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor. He's live on the ground in Tucson, Arizona for us. So, Paul, we got those pictures from the FBI about this time yesterday. So where are we 24 hours later?
Well, Sandra, as you know, last night there was somebody who was detained, quote unquote, by authorities here in the hopes that that was going to pan out. And let's recognize they had enough to get a search warrant, which is not a low bar. You had to get probable cause from a judge to go in and search the home of his in-laws where he was living. So far that looks like that lead has washed out. So you're back to square one, assuming he is completely washed out, and you're back to looking at that video, trying to find, for instance, where some of the items he's wearing might have been purchased. Remember something, as I said last hour, the Bureau put together the case of the DC bombing that had been unsolved for 4 years, that attempted bombing of the DNC and RNC. From the purchase of the batteries was a significant break in that case 4 years earlier. You can go back and do this kind of purchase history. It's painstaking work, but you can do it. They did it there. I'm sure they're doing it here. And they're also, I am sure, trying to get more video from the location or anywhere using the same technique. That is to say, taking stuff that was cached, likely in the Wi-Fi system, and see if you can translate those bits and bytes into usable video and maybe get an image of this person walking, because that's one of the most dispositive things about a person's identification.
One of the most, one of the things that stuck out to us the most when we first saw these pictures, and as we look at them now, is the obvious gun present as he approached the front door. James Gagliano, the retired FBI supervisory agent, basically is calling into question whether or not this is a professional. Listen.
I have never, ever seen a bad guy carry a pistol like that. I've heard it discussed and described as a Mexican carry. Right. That is not what that is. That carry is where you put an unholstered firearm inside your waistband and then pull your shirt out over the front of it. That pistol there for intimidation purposes, or are we dealing with a non-professional?
What conclusions have you come to about that, Paul?
I have to agree that is definitely an odd place to, you don't usually see perps wearing guns like that out. Stuffed in the groin area, yes. But out like that, I don't know. No. They say that area is pitch black. You can't see in front of your face. There's been reporters, our friend Brian Enton is out there, a couple of others. They did say you cannot see at all in front of your face. It's so dark. But yeah, I agree, Ed. What do you think? That is an odd way to wear a gun. I don't think I've seen many people do that. I mean, there's so many different oddities with this. I mean, first of all, he's got a revolver holster with a semi-automatic weapon in it, and it's that holster was not designed for that particular gun. It's out and exposed, okay, and you're outside in the general public around this location, wearing the ski mask and gloves, and you have an exposed gun like that, and then you're wearing a backpack that has reflectors on it. I mean, these don't bode to professionalism, right? This bodes to amateur hour here. Yeah.
Okay.
100%. We're going to get to all the questions and the super chats, so just hang with us. I want to say thank you to all of the new subscribers and all new people that are here. If you have something to say and you don't agree, it's fine to put it in the chat. Just do it respectfully. We're not always going to agree. This is a discussion, and we're all adults here. So we respect everybody's opinion. There's no need to be, rude to anybody, including the host and the co-host. But yeah, let's have an open discussion in regards to this and do it with civility. I appreciate you guys all being here, and thank you.
I don't think there's any question that it's a non-professional, especially when you consider that as he approaches the front door, he puts his head down. I guess he did some minor surveillance at the least, because I think he at least believes that there's a potential camera above him. But then when he gets to the front door and he spots the live Nest camera that we've all seen now, he very casually goes back, pulls up a bush, and somehow or other thinks that he can affix a bush to the front of the camera. I don't even see how you would do that. There's something very sort of slow and casual in the way he behaves here that, to my mind, makes him a little bit low functioning. Who would think that would even be possible? So, I think James is right. I don't think this is anybody who's done a lot of professional crime, certainly, irrespective of how he carries the gun. But, I have to say, he pulls that camera off. And let's remember something. That camera, as I said earlier, it reports to the Wi-Fi system. Now, unless he badly damaged it when he pulled it off, these are battery-powered systems. It's still powered up when he pulls it off. It should still be reporting until it goes out of range. Some of these have a range of 100, 150 feet, depending on the strength of the Wi-Fi you have. So I'm sure they went with the bits and bytes that they had up front, the code that they could as fast as possible in 10 days to make a video out of that code. But there may be more off the same camera, never mind another camera, where he takes that device, because I haven't heard they found the device. Maybe he took it with him, he put it in the car. You may get audio off of that as well. These devices take audio in as well. So that's the kind of thing I'm sure that they're crunching on very hard. And let's hope that they have enough that they can put this together again with the help of the Google text.
Yeah, we certainly hope they have more evidence than they're letting on, and hopefully it is leading them to this individual. Paul, Harvey Levin also weighed in on what this person was.
Yeah, so Ed, that's a whole other thing too, is, this device could continue to record, and it's recording audio as well. We know it from our Ring video doorbells. This is the Nest, Google Nest, which is the same type of functioning camera. They pick up a lot of audio. They pick up the video. There could be a lot more that obviously they're not letting us know in the public, because the only people that would know is the perp, and if the investigators get it. So
there's no doubt in my mind that law enforcement has way more than we know, and and they're working it. They're working diligently behind the scenes. Just because we don't know about it or we don't see it doesn't mean they're not working.
Let's grab some of the super chats while I pull up a little bit more media. Schmitty was the first one in, and sending Schmitty sincere condolences on the passing of her mom last week. So Schmitty, our hearts are with you, and we pray for you and your family. She says, I've been absent. What do you think? I've been absent. What do you think of the videos? One man wearing a backpack, and then the other not visible wearing the gun, and then not. Grainy on the second video. You saw that, right, Ed? I'll let you take it.
I did. Where the video captures person standing without the backpack and the gun. We don't know the time context, okay, of, when did it happen? Did it happen before or after the removal of the video camera from the entrance? Was it during that 41 minutes when he was meandering around the house, inside the house there for 41 minutes, or at that location for 41 minutes? We don't know. I mean, did he run back to the car and deposit these things back in the car, or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, it was clearly the same guy. It's just he came back and
the car was used at all.
Yeah. Tracy in Scotland says, I don't watch TV and I know nothing. I know about Nancy Guthrie. Like she's saying, I'm in Scotland and I don't watch TV and I know about it. Okay. Got that. Thank you. Sherry, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, do you think they should up the reward? That always helps.
See, this is why I don't understand about this reward stuff. So we got a guy today that allegedly goes to sends TMZ that he knows the perp and that for one Bitcoin, which is $56,000, and the reward right now is 50, so it's only 6,000 more. I will tell you who did this, and right? If that was the case, if that was legitimate, why not just go to the police and give up the information to get the 50,000 reward?
Right.
Why go that route? That to me is all bogus.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot of people who are opportunists. They're being opportunistic. They want to try to, there's scammers everywhere, all over the internet. And this thing is out there for everybody to see internationally. So this could be somebody outside the country just saying, hey, let's see if we can get this family to sucker and send us money. It could be that easy, or it really could be the other end of the coin. Here's the extended interview. I'm not going to show it I'm going to show part of it on the screen, but I'm not going to show it all because it starts to go to the memorial mass that they held for Nancy. And I don't think it's appropriate as this guy's talking to play that, but this is a second interview. How many people in the chat have seen Carlos's second extended interview? There was Entertainment Tonight's microphone there and many other people. You see a cell phone with a camera light on it. I don't know exactly what time it is, but it looks like he's in a little different attire. Let's listen to this. I didn't hear it all. I just listened to it quickly. But let's just take a listen. We might as well.
Is being detained and released in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. He spoke out this morning with more on what went down.
They just told me stop moving. Like, what's your name? Carlos, and that's it. They put me in the cop car. You gotta wait like 2 hours. I waited like 2 hours until the detectives came here and everything. I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. And I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
The Prima County Sheriff's Department says the man was detained at a traffic stop south of Tucson. It remains unclear exactly why this man was detained in relation to the case. Hours earlier, the FBI released photos and video of a masked person seen tampering with a security camera at Guthrie's home. FBI Director Kash Patel says the doorbell camera images were recovered from a residual data located in back-end systems. An armed person is seen appearing to tamper with a security camera at the front of the door of the 84-year-old's.
I want to go back to that because that's what Schmitty was talking about. That's the photo without the backpack and without the gun. You see?
Yep.
I know we've seen it. We talked about it the other day, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the perp coming back, same black gloves, mask. But this is a really. I wonder why it's so shitty and grainy.
So obviously it's before the camera was destroyed.
Right.
Okay. So we just don't have a timestamp to put to this.
Right. All right.
Of the 84-year-old's Arizona home, the morning of.
Yo, mira, my okay, later. Okay. Yo, mira, my wrist is all swollen from the handcuffs. Like,
and did you have any idea?
No.
That this was about
No.
Do you know who Nancy Guthrie?
No, that's the problem. No, I don't know anything.
You were like, where is this coming from?
How did they come up on you?
I don't know.
Like, what, were you just driving around?
Yeah, working.
Yeah, you're delivering DoorDash?
GLS.
Oh, no.
How'd they pull up on you? Like,
Nah, I pulled up on them.
Yeah.
They were following me. Yeah, they were following me. Miranda.
This is a pretty good picture of him, and a lot of people are analyzing about the mustache, and it's very hard to do that. You have to really be skilled, and I don't purport to be that skilled person with facial identification and recognition, but there are experts that do this, and there are programs that work it. But I thought this was interesting because he's candidly speaking with reporters more and at a different time about what happened while he was detained.
This is Santa Cruz County.
Yeah.
They were following me. Yeah, they were following me. Marana. This is Santa Cruz County, and Marana was down here. It's like, come on, 2 and 2.
And so then when they came up on you, what did they say? Like, what did they say?
Nothing. Literally nothing. They just told me stop moving. Like, what's your name? Carlos. And that's it. They put me in the cop car. I gotta wait like 2 hours. I waited like 2 hours until the detectives came here and everything.
Oh my God.
And what, when they finally told you this was had to do with some kidnapping, like what were you thinking?
Like, what the f am I doing here? I didn't do anything. To be honest, like, I'm innocent.
And you don't even know who the lady is? Do you know who Savannah Guthrie
No,
is?
no. I don't follow the news.
Right.
I don't watch.
You don't watch the Today Show?
No,
So this was a complete
Yes.
shock.
it was
What
kind
was-
of questions were they asking you?
nothing. They didn't ask me no questions.
So they just
Nothing.
said-
They
so they
just sat me
took
in the car. They investigated my car and this land, and that's it. They didn't ask me no questions, no nothing.
Did you get the other car back? Or they still have it?
No, it's right there.
Oh, they gave it back to
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah, it's like,
and they said you can go home?
yeah.
And how did they treat like the people you were with, your girl, your child?
I don't want to speak
Yeah,
about
no,
that.
understood.
You know what I mean?
How's your family? They
Well, they're all
scared
in shock.
everybody. I was gonna say they scared everybody, huh?
Yeah, they're all in shock right now.
Wow.
Did they damage the house?
Yeah.
What did
What
they
did
do
they
to the
do?
They
house?
broke the doors. What else? Man? The garage door in the back.
What are you gonna do now?
I'll try to clear my name. I didn't do anything.
Could you tell us your name again?
And I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. And I'm done. Just look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on
Not just
national
them.
news now.
Not just them. Even my parents in Tucson.
So it was interesting. Additional video of him being interviewed by reporters. There looked like a whole slew of reporters outside the home. We're not drawing any conclusions. We're not pointing any fingers. But at the end of the day, it's up to the investigators to, make that decision. They still have his cell phone. They did bust up a lot of his property. He said they broke the garage door. It looked like the back windows of that van were broken. I don't know if they did it or if it was like that. But when someone's wearing a full ski mask over their face, you can't really even tell about ears or the nose. I mean, you can see the outline of the nose, but it's really hard to determine. That's why many of these home burglary, they call them cat burglars, right? Because they put a mask over their face. Ed, you put a balaclava on during the Kohlberger investigation.
I've actually investigated cases where they've actually used, like Mission Impossible Hollywood mask and eyebrows and wigs and toupees and all this stuff. It was a high-end diamond theft in the Diamond District in Manhattan, and the perps stayed in a hotel overnight. And when we found that hotel room, we found all of the makeup and all of the mask components and the eyebrows and mustaches and the glue inside the hotel room.
Yeah. Here's the vehicle outside of Carlos's home, and I just want to get everybody to take a peek at the back windows. It's the GLS parcels to people. That's what he said he works for. But look at back here. I mean, I don't think it's an illusion. It looks like the windows on both sides are completely broken out. No? What do you
I don't
guys
know
think?
about both sides, but maybe, yeah. But there's definitely something in there on the left side. But the right one is looks like it's gone totally.
Yeah. Just looks to me that they smashed out the both back. That looks like maybe part of the paneling, or maybe something where, I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't. I'm not seeing any.
I could see the jagged edges of the glass here up on the top.
When was that done? If we can't zoom in and look on the ground and see if there's any glass there.
That's about as close as we get, and it does look like both glasses are out. Let us know what you think in the chat. That's the work van that Carlos was using to deliver packages to the neighborhood there in Tucson. All right, I want to go to the chat and finish up with the super chats and the regular questions. Katina, thank you for the $2. Eyes will be on him, his mom and associates. There's no question. They have his phone. They got to return that search warrant. So I want to see when it's the search warrant's been sealed, but eventually they have to return it, and then it has to be unsealed. I think it's close to zero that this guy is detained. Did it? Yeah. Look, everybody's got an opinion, and we respect it. Thank you for the support and the super chat. Why would he be door dashing when he's under so much heat, especially after the video that was released? I've seen a lot of perps in my time, a lot of bad guys just go on about their business after murdering people, multiple people, right, Ed? Going and eating pizza and having McDonald's, and they just go about their regular routine. I'm not saying Carlos is the guy, but I'm just saying this statement doesn't hold true to all criminals, because people who do these things, they just figure, let me just go and blend in and just be normal, so I don't stand out. Let me just continue my regular routine. So there's two sides to everything. Jeff, good to see you and Elaine. Hi, Ron and Ed. I bet this dude was checking. Well, yes, it's a company vehicle. Yeah. Check it out before you carry the gun like this. Blow your stuff up. Can blow your junk off. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Angela, thank you so much. You already answered my question, so you can bypass it. Okay, appreciate that, Angela. Thank you. I got caught up with all the super chats. If you have questions, #Ed, #DutyRon, please put the questions in the chat. Somebody's saying that you look too thin. Are you okay, Ed? You're working out and you're dieting and exercising.
Yes, I am. I lost 30 pounds.
Congratulations. I could stand to lose probably another 30 myself. Thank you for the concern. I love that people love us, Ed. This community is so great. Everybody loves us. So here, Megan's saying, _Roberts, the dude has to pay his bills. Money doesn't appear out of the ground. There you go. Yeah. Brian Enton interviewed Carlos as well. Okay. Somebody says, how could you deliver package? Movie lover, music lover. Oh, I love that screen name. How can he deliver packages in that van like that? The packages will be stolen. I am alluding to that the FBI and the people who did the search warrants and the law enforcement may have. I'm not saying they did. I'm saying that there's a possibility that they took out those windows. And I'm surprised that he didn't talk about that. Maybe he did elsewhere. Zobe says, I don't even have a freaking TV. How about that? Well, we appreciate it. Ed, we got to do a round table where we have...
you have the internet.
There you go. Yes, you definitely have the internet. But if you go out to a supermarket or a grocery store or a restaurant, sometimes they have screens where they're playing the news. Go into a doctor's office.
You saw the big billboard driving down the highway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to be fair and get to all the questions. Francine says, I'm glad you're on YouTube. Well, we're glad that you're here. We're glad to hear. They picked him up due to a tip, investigatory evidence / tip, perhaps. And we're guessing, because they didn't just pick him randomly. Hey, there's a guy. Let's go follow him. He said in his interview that they were following me and I pulled over. Right? Didn't he say that, Ed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, is there more?
I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning. So right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
All right, we heard this already. So somebody artwork says the FBI is taking out things out of Annie's house right now. That's another location they've gone back to numerous times. And what did we see that last time? There was that one Pima County Sheriff deputy that had one brown paper bag, Ed, and his own folding table.
The own folding table plus the Celebrite box.
Yeah. Somebody said here, it was funny that he said he felt like he was being kidnapped.
Yeah. Ironic, isn't it? There was a question there about if law enforcement damages property during the search warrant, do they pay for the repairs? I can't speak for over there, but here in New York City, yes, we have to. In the course of my crime scene investigations, I've damaged people's property numerous times, and with that, I have to fill out a certain paperwork and submit the paperwork to the police department to allow them to document the fact that I did do this. And then they push that paperwork to our city lawyers. And then, sometimes we take care of it ourselves in-house in the NYPD. Sometimes we'll send our building maintenance people out and repair certain things that we've done. Other times the city will just pay them out to get the repair done.
Correct. And a lot of times when we would blast the doors in public housing, they had guys like the Joey Brooklyns, the maintenance superintendents, the supervisors, the plumbers, the people who would come and fix the anything that we broke during the search warrants, and they would pay for it. Carly, thank you. 95% of the investigation has happened at Annie Guthrie's house. Is it coincidence or not? No. I mean, everybody is a part of this investigation, and that includes. We talked about victimology, where they start from the family members, and then the extended family, then friends, and business associates, people that they hire to do work. And Annie and her husband are not exempt from investigatory. That's the last place that Nancy Guthrie was seen alive. Right, last place was at their home for a dinner, and they said they referred to it as the dinner night and games and so forth, or whatever they were doing.
In criminal investigation 101, homicide investigation, or whatever the case may be, missing person investigation 101, the first places you start with are the last people that saw the victim. Okay. And the last place the victim was at. And both those places just turned out to be the daughter and the son-in-laws and the first concentric circle of an investigation, you start out with the family. You look at the family first and then work your way out.
Right. Now I'm going back to this drone footage because I thought it was interesting to see the expansive property that Nancy Guthrie lived in. Beautiful pool, beautiful grounds, a guest house here on to the right. This is the main house right here at the bottom of your screen. All right, so let's see. Dawn Marie and Joey Brooklyn and Lexi and all the mods are here. Beamer is here. Thank you. Optimistic Prime says, my husband had no idea who Nancy or Savannah Guthrie are. It is not in his algorithm at all, so I am not super surprised that he doesn't know. But again, Ed brought up a good point. You work with a lot of different people where you get those packages. You got to go to a distribution center to pick up your packages. There's people talking about it. You're not going to say that you don't go to a gas station, you don't go to a restaurant, you don't go to a grocery store, you don't go to a supermarket or a quick convenience store. Everybody's talking about it. It's everywhere. But yeah, I understand. There's a possibility that people would not know. If Savannah offered, look at this. Thank you for this comment. If she offered a $3 million reward, this would get solved in seconds. I'm not 100% sure on that because, I've seen lots of cases where there's a bigger reward and it still stalls. So.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day. There was a movie with, I think it was called Ransom. I think the name of the movie was Ransom with Mel Gibson. And Mel Gibson was a rich New Yorker, and he had some shady side to him, and his kid got abducted, and they were asking for a specific ransom. And then he turned around against the wishes of law enforcement and the FBI and so forth, and went out to the public, to the press rather, and outside of his apartment and gave an interview. And he said, I'm going to offer, whatever the ransom was.
It's a large amount of money. Yeah.
Right. Whatever the ransom was for someone to go out and kill these people or, find them and kill them. Okay. Something to that effect, if I remember the movie correctly, or he just put a bounty on their head, or to something to that effect. Turned around and flipped the script on the kidnappers.
I remember that. Mel Gibson did that. Yep.
Yeah, it was an interesting movie.
Yeah, a very interesting one. Francine says, this is a common thing too, and people argue with this. My mom was very stubborn. She did not want to have anybody, period, in her home. She didn't want any outside help. She wanted to be independent. And you can't take that away from a human being. These are the people who raised us, right? When your parents say to you, I want you to give me my independence. At any time that they show you that they cannot be alone and it's not safe, then it's a real hard decision to make. But you have to make it for the best interest of their safety. I'm not saying, and I'm not pointing fingers here because I don't know the family dynamic. None of us do. None of us know that dynamic. But I know that I've been through it with both my mom and my grandmother. My grandmother died at 101 years old. Guess where she died? In her bedroom, in her home. Why? Because she would not stay in a nursing home. She would not. We had home health aides that slept in her home. We all paid for it. We chipped in, and she had a hospital bed, and she had all of the care that she needed at home, and she died in her home. It doesn't always work out like that for everybody, and it is sad. What do you got there, Ed?
So, Ed, can you lift DNA from mask if they find it? Yes, absolutely. Okay, then you can get the DNA from the mask.
Right. You know, and I'll make another comparison. My father, who had bile duct cancer, and he got sick and he died within 2.5 months. He was healthy, so all of a sudden really sick, and he died. When we brought him to hospice care, my father looked at me and said, "Am I never going home again?" And it was the hardest question to answer to my dad. And I told him, I said, "Dad, no, this is it. We're here. I'm going to be with you. I'm not going to ever leave your side." And I stayed there and slept with him for 14 days in the same room, along with his wife, my stepmom. So it didn't, you know, there's certain circumstances where you can't. It wasn't safe for him to go home. So Nancy Guthrie, we don't know her dynamic. We know that they said that she had limited mobility and that she had a pacemaker and all of these health conditions, and she was in chronic pain. So yes, this is a big home for one person to live in that, you know, has a difficult time getting around. All right, Ed, I think we about covered it today. I appreciate it. What did I say? 30 minutes? Where are we? An hour.
Yeah, you got a lot of overtime coming your way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I like overtime pay. Thank you, Ed. You're very generous. Guys and girls, we'll be following this closely. We wanted to do this follow-up with you. We wanted to have like a little bit of a round table with you all. I want to just say this. Please understand that we're coming to you from the police detective's perspective. We're not going to always be right, but we're not always going to be wrong. But what we're going to give you is what we're feeling at the time and what we see in front of us, which is we all see this together. So what you see and what I see and what we determine is the outcome could be two different things. Let's agree to disagree at certain times. Let's all have some civility and understand that this is a case about Nancy Guthrie bringing her home, finding her, and getting whoever is responsible, whether it's one or more people, whether it's someone within the family, when it's someone that's a random stranger, whether it's someone that was hired, whether it was somebody we don't know. But we want to bring justice for Nancy Guthrie if she in fact was killed, if in fact she was abducted and still alive. We still want to bring justice for her. So I just wanted to say that, and I want to thank you all for being kind and being a great part of this community, because without you, without our live audience, and without us being here, we have nothing. So I appreciate you all being here. Ed, I'll go to you for the final.
Yes, again, thanks for being here and in spending your valuable time with us. We appreciate it. We're honored by your presence. As we say, you know, we're here to give you our law enforcement experience as it pertains to these high-profile cases that we're seeing here and internationally. And, you know, you take it for what it's worth. You know, we call balls and strikes here, and, you know, sometimes we're on target, over the target, as they say, and sometimes we may be just a little off. But you know, we're trying to give you the best information that we can. We're trying to educate. That's what this is all about, education. Okay. And we thank you again, and always be safe, be prepared, and watch your six.
Amen to that, brother. Thank you. And bring Nancy home. Let's share this on the screen. This is what it's about. There's a daughter. I wish I had a picture with them all together. but it's about the Guthrie family and bringing some closure here and bringing this to a rest, because you got to imagine they're going through it. On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, we want to thank you for being here, and we will see you when new and any updates come. We'll be following this closely. Keep sending me on DutyRon.com. I want to thank everybody, by the way. Keep sending us information. If you see something, send it to us. But if it's a tip, right down here we have the scrolling tip line. Send in your tips. Good day from New York. We'll see you soon.